Actually, the thing I like most about my sheet, the cash flow actually, is it tracks the average for the year and it does the total amount for the year. But more importantly, it does a savings to salary ratio that I really like. So then that is then averaged out. So you know, and even under your 3-month grind for all those emotional people out there, even if you do it...
Hello everybody, welcome to Chills with TFC. I'm your host Reggie, aka your Chief Financial Coconut.
And I'm Anthony, part of the TFC crew.
Yeah, great.
Hi, I'm Jaslyn, founder of the Busy Woman Project.
And Rakesh, part of the TFC crew.
Yeah, I'm very happy that y'all stopped talking about TFC market updates. yeah. Because we stress. I always say, oh, my market updates. Okay. So part of the crew now. And Jazz, thanks for coming on the show. Yeah, you want to talk a little bit about your project? Actually, I really like your project.
Okay, so the Busy Woman Project is a community for women in Asia to find their purpose and balance through mental, physical, and financial health.
See? Yeah, so she's on the right platform. Okay, so so we are here today. We are brought together here today because of OCBC Financial Wellness Index, right? So this is an index that's been running for like 5 years, right? So it's been a while, and every year there's something new, right? So this year, the new one is the personality test, right? The financial persona. Right, and we will talk a little bit about it in this episode, right? So first, take out your phones, do this whole financial personality quiz thing, right? So essentially, as part of the index, OCBC is trying to kind of find out where are the Singaporeans at, right? Where are Singaporeans at in terms of our financial wellness journey, right? And by extension, then maybe talk a little bit about where can we go? Where do we want to go further? Where are our strengths and weaknesses? So this personality test becomes very interesting. But before you do it, I just want to be clear that this is not like horoscope. Please don't treat it like as a prophecy, right? So we are going to talk a little bit about our strengths and weaknesses and how we manage it depending on our personality. Okay, so for a start, let's do. Okay, come, do the test.
Good. I have an excuse to stare at my screen while we record a podcast. Brilliant.
I'm always on the lookout for new developments in the financial world. Yeah, kind of, but not the most. Yeah, when I come across a new financial product, I'll find out more. Yeah, fair. Financial
I do not
goals.
Procrastinate once I've decided to do something. Nope. Very good at procrastinating.
When purchasing a product, I have an evaluation process. Yes. I constantly put money towards my financial goals. Yes. I'm in debt and I'll prioritize. If I'm in debt, I'll prioritize paying it off completely. Depends on what is the interest rate and all that.
Isn't that the answer? It always depends.
Yeah, it always depends, right? I find it hard to put aside my emotions.
I know I will retire with enough money.
Of course.
Yeah.
Don't know how to do it, but I'll get there.
Yeah. Estimation of how much I need to retire takes into account my lifestyle desires, inflation. Yeah, of course. I'm afraid to make big financial decisions. No, I'm not. I know I'll retire with enough money. Yes. I would not let bad investment decision. Yes. I do not give up after a financial setback. Yes. Yeah.
You're conscientious. I like.
Enthusiast. Loss. I know how much I can lose. I know how much loss I can accept on a financial product. Yeah, little. I often regret my financial decisions. I do not procrastinate once I had decided to do something.
What's yours?
The planner.
When my financial circumstances change, I will revise my financial
I think
goals.
that's the reason why the two of you are there.
Hey, you mean
It's
Reggie
just
knew?
natural.
Reggie knew before we did the quiz.
Yes. Yeah. We know. I know, right? Okay, great. So, how about let us flash our, financial persona out on screen, right? So, what are you? Right? I am the enthusiast, right? So,
I'm a dreamer.
Yeah.
I am the planner.
The planner.
Okay, that's why they're on the same
It's
they're on the same
natural,
side, right?
right?
Yeah. But what is the enthusiast? What is the planner? What's the dreamer? I think let us look a little bit. Okay, so in this 2023 Financial Wellness Index by OCBC, there are 6 personas, right? So after we do this, you get your persona, so go and do it, right? So my persona is the enthusiast. I'm going to kind of share with you the main traits now, okay? So the main traits of the enthusiast is I'm emotional yet confident. That means always fluff people. So in other words, most entrepreneurs should be enthusiasts, right? Essentially, we have a dream and then we take action on it. I think that's the primary thing. And the financial tips here is work on a structured investment plan for retirement and build streams of passive income. Okay, so yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Very
yes.
interesting.
But for you,
So I'm a dreamer, right?
Yeah.
So my
so
head,
you don't take action, dream only.
yeah, I dream only, right? It's emotional and conscientious, which is like worst. Because you're emotional, you want to do that thing, and then you'll never ever do it. So then you procrastinate, right? So I think that's where the problem lies. And the tip for it is that you need to set a monthly budget to meet your needs, and you need to create a systematic investment plan for retirement. I sense a theme.
Yeah, there's a theme. We're on the same line. We're all both
Yeah,
quite
we're both
emotional.
Oh, got no tip.
Yeah.
Um,
You got no tip. That
we
means
have,
you-
we
you-
have.
yeah,
Why
okay.
don't you introduce the planner and then
Planner,
I'll
yes.
go for
What
the
is the
tips.
planner?
Sure. So the planner, you are a financial goal getter. Yes. Always armed with a plan. dramatic reading. Dramatic reading. Leo.
Yeah, very dramatic. I love it. Yes.
Up to date with latest developments, you dare to make a bold financial decisions and consistently take steps to turn your plans into reality.
So no procrastinating.
No
Apparently not.
procrastinating. Apparently very clear with where you want to go. And apparently there's some sort of a ranking, right? So there is a ranking because on this index, right, they're looking to rank kind of where everybody is at, and different personas tend to perform slightly differently, right? So apparently we are the more jialat ones. Supposedly.
That's why you're there. That's why you're
That's why we're
there.
there.
Well, if you look at our financial tips, it's quite pretty good. Like ensure that you're not overstretched and schedule like periodic reviews of your financial plan.
And do you do that?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see, the planner. But okay, all that being said, right? All that being said, we're not here to try to tell you like, oh, okay, just do this, like this is your persona and that's all to it, right? I think what the OCBC team and together with us, what we are trying to talk about is that, okay, you recognize that everybody has a persona of their own, and as to why this persona exists, there's a complicated discussion, right? Your upbringing, your experiences, over time, your values and your beliefs, which we have talked about on the show quite a bit, how your inner world then, kind of expounds on the outside world to your money habits and your ideas, right? And your money narratives, right? So we do a lot of that. But today we're going to spend more effort to talk about how then do we manage our weaknesses and double down on our strengths, right? I think that's the main thing, because we don't want it to be a case where, okay, this is your financial persona. I'm like that one law.
Yes.
Right, like that's all to me, right? But because that's not true, right? Or as much as I'm the enthusiast and he's the dreamer, I think we're doing quite fine,
I hope so.
Yeah, I think we're doing quite fine, right? So we definitely want to talk a little bit about how are we doing this thing, how do we make it work, right? So yeah, maybe anybody want to start? Just talk a little bit about like, okay, what is one strength that you think it's part of your persona and you're doubling down on?
Yeah. Actually, just before that, I think with this personal test, it's great because it's a good sense check of where you are. Right. And I think it's also good to know that while exactly like what you said, you shouldn't just lepak and just say this is it.
Lepak.
Yeah.
Wow, lepak.
But it's more the fact that it can even change. So maybe next year when you take this, it could change.
Okay, fair. That's a fair point.
It could.
And to be fair, there are 6 personalities.
Yeah.
It's not. I just cannot put 6 people of different personality on set, There are others like the guard, the steward, the navigator. Essentially, it is built upon the variance of like how emotional you are, how confident you are, how conscientious you are. There are different factors involved, and like what Rak say, it can change over time, right? So don't treat it as like a end all be all. Yes. Shout out to all you horoscope people.
I actually really resonate with that point because I feel like my, financial kind of personality has kind of shifted over the years as well.
Really?
Yes. I feel like one of my strengths right now, to your question, is really building like that little steps. I really believe in like little habits that would go a long way, but I wasn't always like that. I was pretty much YOLO, let's jump into something and figure out from there. So maybe it's age.
But that means previously you would think that you're like enthusiast.
I was quite an enthusiast. Yes. I
Trying to build
was.
relatability.
Yeah,
is it, Reggie?
trying
I know.
to get
You're
some,
cool, you're
trying to
yes.
get some support. Yeah. But what about you? Like, how do you double down on your strengths?
I think, being the planner, I think I've always really been.
Yeah, just now off screen, he was telling us that they have like,
Yes. So
So they have a quarterly balance sheet, quarterly cash flow
Yeah,
statement,
yeah,
and you need
yeah.
to do it monthly now.
yeah.
Rug and wife has.
So
What do you
yeah, for me is, and I've actually sent these templates to I think double-digit worth of friends because they're asking, how do you plan your finances? What do you do to make sure you know what you're doing?
We can upload on the financialcoconut.com.
and so
okay.
I have effectively a quarterly balance sheet that we run on all our accounts, including assets, liabilities, and then we calculate equity at the bottom. And I run a monthly cash flow where you just effectively export your statement and then throw it in and automatically populates in terms of salary, expenses, taxes, whatever else. Yeah, so I think that's what I do. Even while I was young, so whenever I wanted to buy, I think this is where the habit cultivated. I wanted to buy something fancy, right? First thing I wanted to buy when I was 15 was an iPod, second gen, right? Just a
Well, second
Second
gen.
gen.
Dating yourself,
Second
yeah.
gen.
second gen. I need to date myself, but then talk about a touchscreen on there. But anyway, then it was, how do I get there? So my allowance from my parents didn't quite make it. So I needed to figure out a way to get there and decided to plan. So that's where it started.
Nice. So
Yeah.
you've been planner all your life.
I think to a certain extent, yeah.
Wow. Okay. So you're the consistent one. Okay.
Maybe
okay.
lah,
Okay.
maybe.
Fair. Then you.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I think I started off as a planner where I needed like concrete steps to take. I need to know this and that and everything. And I think life just caught up into a sense that okay, I think broadly we know that there's enough. Broadly we know that we are going in this direction. And as long as we stay in this direction and certain assumptions hold, we'll make it there, right? So if that's the case, do I really need to fuss about whether it's now, whether we are exactly on track, or we are 1 month behind or 2 months behind in our goal? It doesn't matter. We'll get there, right? So it then becomes a bigger picture thing, and I think that's why it has become I've become a dreamer.
So his plan is sorted.
But because the plan is there, the
Uh.
big main overarching principles that you need to abide by, that you need to do, they're all set up. Then it's just a matter of following and executing, and that sometimes means that life is busy. You don't track as much as you should, right? Like, and I think my insurance agents really dislike me. Because I'll get into the heat of it. I'll go, yes, I need to sort out my insurance. I'll text all of them on the weekend because that's the time I do it. And then I'll ignore them for 3 weeks because I have no time to think about it. Right? And then procrastinate. And then, let's restart the process again. So I think all of them hate me by now. But it is what it is.
It's an Anthony thing. When he feels something, right, he will text everyone on it, right? So like if he hates his job, then he'll text all the headhunters. And it's true. When you feel like, job so stressed, I'm gonna text all my headhunters, right? So it's like, I need to do this. So I text everyone, right? But then other things catch up, right? So it is what it is, And I am the enthusiast, and I think most entrepreneurs should be enthusiasts, right? Because if you think too much, right, then you will not do it, right? And essentially, at some point in time, if you know too much about the thing, the resistance get very high. Like today, you asked me to set out this whole thing again. I said, please, right? You know what I mean, right? Like, let's do this whole thing again. I was like, 不要, right? So
That's why you're telling everyone not to be a
yes,
podcaster.
yeah,
right?
it's okay. You can just join the network. Join the network. We've already done the groundwork. Join the network. Hello@thefinancialcoconut.com. Okay. Yeah. Join the TFC crew. Join the TFC crew. But yeah, the whole idea of being an enthusiast, I think that has some strengths to it because you're willing to try. You're willing to go into newer spaces that people may not find comfortable, right? So I think that kind of describes me a little. Which is kind of cool. But of course, there are a lot of downsides to being an enthusiast, right? So the idea of being enthusiast is emotional yet confident. Sometimes that means you're emotional, but actually you fluff confidence, You never thought about this properly, and then you just go straight in, right? And it creates a lot of problems and downwards, right? Which is why I think for a lot of our listeners that you're regularly listening to us, you know that I'm like a sticker for frameworks and systems, right? Because over time I realized that I need these things to keep me grounded. Because my enthusiasm was just, that looks interesting. Everything looks interesting. Why not try? But in order to increase my success rate, I ended up leaning into a lot of these kind of like this system. Is this system rigorous, right? Check the assumptions, check the parameters, blah, 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 blah. Okay, this works. I take it. And then it becomes my guardrails in managing my enthusiasm. right? In managing like all the excitement that I have for like a new sector and all that, right? So I think it's part of it that it's quite interesting in managing your weaknesses, as much as it is a me thing lah. And I think about it, it's quite true, because like over years, it's always been like I'm a serial failed entrepreneur, right? This is the only time that looks kind of more successful. Right, so
Looks, you mentioned the word looks.
Yeah, looks a bit more successful. Thanks for sponsoring. Okay, yeah.
No, but it sounds like it's interesting because both of you actually have very firm groundworks and like frameworks, right, on top of that little bit of like enthusiasm on top of it. Yeah.
It's important, right?
No, but I think that comes to the next point, right? Like, it's always about knowing yourself, what your weakness is in a sense, and deciding if it's something that you can live with or if it's something that, okay, maybe I need to mitigate. And the way you mitigate our, I guess, emotion.
Yeah, because we're the emotional.
is to have a system in place that kind of removes a bit of the emotion or makes you less reactive to it. Or even if you want to react emotionally to it, you don't actually do anything about it. Like me, I procrastinate. Right? So and I think that's a kind of a double-edged sword, right? So if I want to, and in the context of investing, for example, it took me a longest time to set up a recurring investment plan because I procrastinated a hell of a lot of time. I knew it was the right thing to do. I just couldn't be bothered until there was a guide written by someone. I was like, this is easy to follow. Spend 15 minutes clicking it and that was done. Right? But on the flip side, I also procrastinate in selling. Right? So that means that, if the market turns bad, it's fine. I want to sell and 2 months later it's recovered.
Okay, never mind.
We don't need to do this anymore. Things have changed.
He DCA on his own, right?
Yeah,
let's just buy more. Don't need to sell.
So you just continue buying, and then I never cancel my plan, and life is good. So I think and that's why I think this.
That's the strengths of dreamers.
No, so this test is important, right? Because if you find that it is accurate for you, then you can know, okay, fine. What strategies can I use to mitigate my weaknesses and try to turn them into strength? Right? Because just because you procrastinate doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing in all contexts. Right? It's about making it work for you.
It's true. And one other thing, I mean, I reshared one thing that I did, right? But one other thing that I did to manage that enthusiasm is to create friction across different buckets of money. Right. So because like as an enthusiast, I think there's a general tendency to like, let's go, right? Entrepreneurs, I want to do that, right? Let's go. Then just sign on and lose money, all the problems, right? A lot of them, I know I met many. So I intentionally create friction by setting up the different bank accounts, right? Like different accounts. And I try to put money separately, as much as possible to kind of essentially creating friction, because whatever you want more of, you reduce friction, right? You reduce friction, so then that thing will keep repeating, it becomes a habit, and then naturally it becomes happen, right? Whatever you don't want, then you must kind of do some of that, right? So whether is it going into like a fixed plan, which is like more consistent, or is it like just setting up different bank accounts to kind of help you with this? Although I know OCBC sponsor lah, but I got many bank accounts. Everybody multi-bank one these days, right? It's true, right? So you kind of do that to manage the element. I think it's very important, and giving yourself then this okay, I can fully just try everything with this other bucket. Right.
Effectively, your safety net.
Yeah, effectively. So, and over time, what I do is I will raise that bar. Right? Because as I accumulate, then I must raise the bar, right? That bar continue to stay low, then I will always come back to the same cycle, right? If let's say I risk everything upfront, right? So this kind of adjusts over time. And I feel like this does two things, right? One thing, of course, it allows me to achieve the financial goals that I want, I set out for. At the same time, it does not starve me from the excitement of life and creativity and innovation as an enthusiast, right? Which I think that is a big part of where, I think some Singaporeans feel that, because we want to accumulate for retirement, accumulate for this, for that. Then if you're a planner, then okay lah, never mind lah. Planners get it right? but for me, I feel like, I need that space to play around and crave for it. Yeah.
And I think as planners, or for me, I'll speak for myself, and Jess, you can go. It's the complete opposite of what you've just said.
You have to plan the fun, huh?
Yes. I am not joking with you. Let me give you an example, right? I've gotten a little better because of my wife. I used to plan and consistently track every dollar I've spent on my vacation.
Oh my
That sounds like a
god! I
terrible
will
life.
not holiday with you.
You get what I mean?
Yes.
Now you know why I have to change.
Why?
I don't know why she married me.
Right.
But
and I met her. She's a really cool lady.
She's really like,
She's really
I
cool.
don't know why she put up
She's
with
chill. And then she's like, oh yeah, nice. I don't know why she's with you.
I'm not joking. So especially if it's in cash, I will have you can just type in the amount and what I spent on immediately there and then when I'm purchasing. And at the end of my trip, I'd have a spreadsheet of the expenditure. That was what I did on my vacation. Now I've stopped that. I just guardrails.
Thank you.
I give you a recent example. This shoe, I didn't want to buy it. My dad, mom, and my wife dragged me to the store to buy it. I am not joking with you because it was a dream for me to own one of these shoes, and I just never wanted to spend $200 on it.
Shit. So how maybe you can help us understand a little bit more. How does that feel? Like you want to achieve your long-term financial goals, and then there are all these like other fun things on the side that you somehow want it, but you don't act on it. Like
Yes.
what does that? How does that look like? I feel like I'm studying a specimen here.
Yeah,
It's
very
like
interesting.
very weird.
I don't understand.
Me no gets, like tak matching.
Enthusiast dreamer.
Tak matching, right?
Given I was like a former,
Yeah, thank you,
I feel
thank you.
kind of in between. But yes, please.
I would say it's about priorities, right? Most of our life is about priorities and what we want to prioritize on. And I've always told myself from a young age, right? Settle retirement, I'll settle the rest. Now, while that might be good on concept, they may not be good on life.
Because you always trade off the short term for the long term,
Yes,
right?
correct. So it's trying to find that balance, I feel, as a planner is important. Because otherwise you will lose the journey. And life is about the journey.
Yeah, because technically on the index, right, you're ranked very high, Planners are supposedly all the guys that will achieve the financial wellness and all that, and yeah, but in the short term, by doing these small little acts of spending and frivolousness, in for $200 pair of shoe, which actually is okay, if you're
Sorry,
financially.
that's just a sign of inflation.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Last time that one 120 can get already, say.
Yes, exactly.
Right, that was like teenage days,
That one 20, 120, bro.
Yes, yeah, that one cannot. Okay. But maybe help me understand, like, how has that then impacted your quality of life by planning that spending, or getting pushed down to like, let's go, right?
Well, I think it's slowly changing. I'm not there yet, but it's slowly changing of enjoy it, right? Enjoy that little bit extra. Like, for example, I'll tell you another thing. This is about a month ago I bought this shoe. This is the third time I've worn it because it's been in the box under my cupboard.
Oh my
And my wife is
goodness.
like, why aren't you wearing it? I was like, I paid $200 for it. It's staying in the cupboard. Like,
It's not
she's like,
flexible.
I know. And then she's like, you bought it to wear it. Just wear it. I was like, okay, fine. So I guess that external influence or someone even telling you do it is helping you, right? Because in the end, you're enjoying it.
Nice. I like that. I like that. Yeah. Jazz, what about you?
Well, I mean, I love how this brought like this persona, but I resonate with some of it, but I don't completely resonate with it as well. Like being a former, I guess, like enthusiast, I'm kind of like in
Girls
between. But
transitioning right? through like different way of life. Yeah.
I have like different buckets for like I have the fun, and then I have like I would save to actually go for like different things. So and then I have my typical utilities. So I actually value a lot of that fun and guilt-free spending as well. So I have that. But my weakness, I feel, is like analysis paralysis. Sometimes I can plan so much that I'll be like, okay, so when do I take action? So I have to actually set goals for myself to like, I've already done a lot of planning. Now it's time to take action.
So you got a plan taking action.
Plan it in a way. So
I mean, this is
it's-
what you meant by step goals. Was
Yeah.
that right at the start?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because like my partner actually supports me in that because he's a very action oriented and he is probably the enthusiast.
Get your partners to do it, right? Then tell us. We'll do a later episode around this, right? If your partners have a different personality, how do you do it, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it supports my weakness in the sense that, if I'm planning so much, then it's time to take action. So it helps to balance out that planner side of it as well.
So how has that then impacted your life then? Like by changing up some of these like planning things, making it more like taking action and doing some of that. Like, do you feel like you've inched closer to your financial goals in that sense?
I'm a big proponent of like little steps and little habits. And because I feel like these gives me the freedom I need.
What is a little step that you have done?
Well, before, I mean, I would say that I was really quite the YOLO kind of person, and
I feel borderline attack, low key.
YOLO type of
YOLO
person.
type
I mean,
of person.
that is Reggie
you know?
lah.
no, in a way, YOLO, but there are guardrails that you set for yourself, right? But for now, even like I would say my day-to-day kind of habits and my morning routines, they're all really little steps that I do to help myself feel safe to get
Can you
closer
elaborate a
towards the
little bit
goals.
more?
The safety?
Yeah.
I would say that safety is more around like, I know that I'm doing my best. There's a lot of things outside of my control, but all the steps I'm doing is within my locus of control. And that's the only thing I can do. The rest, I mean, markets would rise, would fall. It's like outside of my control.
Could you kind of elaborate a little bit, like within your control, what do you do?
Yeah, I mean, I guess to read, like you meant daily stuff you did that made you feel safe. What are these daily tasks?
Arabica or coffee, like, because that's why I met her the other day. And then she's so cool. She's like with a notebook writing, I was
I
like,
journal every day. So I do 3 pages every day
Wow.
because that for me is my chance to, dump all my thoughts in instead of ruminating. So I have that. I have like, I work out in the morning as well. I wake up quite early. So those are the things that set me in place. But for finances itself, like I have, like we talk about RSP, right? Like your monthly things, I just put it in. So at least it's settled. Like every month, I actually tabulate my accounts. So part of it will go into my fund. Some of it will go into like my daily stuff. So
You can see the planner in her.
yeah, I can see the
Right,
planner.
you see the common theme there.
I can see the theme. That's why we're not in the same chair. Yeah. By the way, RSP is regular savings plan, for all you that not sure. Hey Coconuts, the OCBC Financial Wellness Index is Singapore's first comprehensive study of the financial health of our fellow Singaporeans. But what is interesting this year is they've created 6 different financial personas to help you better understand yourself, your strengths, your weaknesses, and all that jazz. As you know by now, I am an enthusiast, right? But what is important is not about whether you are this or you're that, and this is better, that is worse. No, but better understanding yourself helps you make more informed decisions and kind of strengthens what you're good at and cover up some of your weaknesses. So with that, I'm sure you want to know about your financial persona. So very simple, head into the link below to do the quiz to get your financial persona. If you want to have some fun, tag us on our socials, let us know who you are, comment in the comment section below. And yeah, let's continue the show. Okay, that's pretty interesting. So maybe if we push the discussion a little bit further, right? Okay, with your personalities, with your personas, how close are you towards achieving your financial goals? And like, what are some practices that you are practicing towards achieving this?
That's a big question.
yeah.
Okay, maybe I'll have
You
an
go
easy
first.
answer, right? I don't know because I don't really track.
In other words, I dream.
Yes, that's it. But I think, maybe just to put things into a bit more context instead of me being the YOLO person, right? Because I think anybody who knows me in real life knows that I'm not a
He's
YOLO
not a
person.
YOLO.
He's not.
I'm
Not
a
even
YOLO
close.
at all.
No, but there's a difference between what is inherently your underlying persona and how do you then practice it? Or how do you then act upon your ideas? Right?
Yeah.
I think there's a difference there.
So I mean, I think a very big part of my belief is that, you know what, at the end of the day, I mean, if we talk about financial wellness or money, it's really about getting enough, right? And okay, one is the concept of enough shifts, right? What I think of as my potential enough 20 years down the line might not, and it's likely not to be what is actually enough 20 years down the line. Right. So what I need to do now is not to maximize that for that, potential downside, because that means that I cannot buy $200 shoes, I cannot stay at nice hotels and all of that. But it means that I do need to save so that there is a bare minimum that I can hit, right? Which is likely enough. And then the rest I'm happy to spend. So, I mean, we all talk about different bank accounts. I think I have a slightly different approach where I don't really track any of the minutiae. I have one number in mind. That is how much I invest every month, right? And there's a projection with that number that leads to what should be enough for a retirement goal. Everything else above that
It's
is
not
fair game,
important. Yeah, that's why
right?
you shared.
I'm going to play, I'm going to gamble with it, I'm going to stay in a nice hotel that costs 1,500 a night, whatever, right? It's about experiences.
Not house view, But yes,
No, but I mean, it works for me,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And it works for me primarily because I looked at the number and that was 5 years ago, right? Even 5 years ago, my wife and I looked at the number. I go, this is a stretch. We need to budget to hit this amount, right? And then our careers progress and all that, and then that number is still the same because we assume like consistent investment of this amount over the years. It's like, oh wait, with our new salaries and all that, this is a lot more doable, and that means that I can spend more, right? And I can buy more frivolous things like watches and cars and shit. And then when she quits her job and then we become single income, we go, now this is a stretch and we need to start budgeting again, right? So it's all around that one idea that we have. And then you plan and your systems and all that, revolve around it to make it work, right?
And I think this is what I mean, and what I was alluding to, where perhaps, when your wife quits and you take this test next year, it could be a different personality.
Yeah, she'll be the planner, right? Because I'll be like, I don't want to care. I'll just go and increase my income.
But I mean, like what you said even earlier, you were told, you had to budget, you had to do this, you had to do that. You could have been a different personality, and that sort of changed.
I think the reality is that I just was never built to track every single dollar. I have a lot of budgeting apps. I think I've
Which you don't use
them. I mean, I downloaded them with the aim of using them. That never worked.
But then you procrastinated,
Yeah.
you see. So
I procrastinated. I failed to enter them. I had a physical journal. I had an app. I had every single thing. It just never worked. I just look at my balance at the start, my balance at the end. Okay, that's the cash.
I want to add on that. Actually, it's very painful for me to track my budgets. It's very painful. Right? It's just like, again, so
it's just admin.
yeah, it's like, okay, I mean,
I don't like admin.
Was it you that told me about self-admin time? No, maybe someone else. But anyway, right? Like, tracking my budgets is so tiring.
it's 5 minutes.
Yeah, no, what I have done, and I have been talking about it on the show and on other places, all you need to do is to do the tracking grind for 3 months, right? So you do the grind for 3 months, you get a general sense of like, where is your money going? Your personal habits are not going to change drastically, unless life changes or you have you get into a relationship, you have a kid, or you're getting promoted, you change your career, you go back to school, whatever reason, right? There must be a big reason why your spending style changed, right? So just do the 3-month grind. Shout out to all you emotional creatures, right? Like we are from the emotional camp, right?
There's a chasm.
Yeah,
Yes,
there is a chasm, right? So we are from the other side, right? And I think from that view, it's like, I know it's painful, just 2-3 months. Get a good sense of it, and then you gotta know where you're going already, right? And I did pick up something from what he told me previously, which is like, you just track the difference lah, right? Just go for the surplus at the end. Then from there, enough already. As long as your surplus is a consistent number, then okay, right? So it works, right? Essentially, that's what he said, right? So.
But in a way, I'm not sure about you, like being a fellow planner. I actually really enjoy looking at the Excel
Love it.
sheet and
Love it.
Oh my
doing.
Love it. I love it.
Oh my god! Okay. Oh my goodness!
It's
I
like,
completely
it's
hear you.
finances time. Let's go.
You know what's
That's
worse?
my enthusiasm.
You know what's worse? I gotta do the same for the business finances. Oh my god, accounting year is killing me.
That one is work, bro. That one's at
yeah,
35.
yeah,
It's
No,
crazy.
but okay, so I guess that's why I created my sheets, because my sheets is literally a data dump. So I export from OCBC and then I just paste it in my Google Sheet, and then straight away everything pops up. So 5 minutes, not even, and everything is there. I just have to tag my salary. That's it.
How do you do a balance sheet?
My balance sheet is done manually.
Yeah. So I think that's the difficulty I have. So the only thing I track is really my net worth, which is essentially a balance sheet. And I have my spreadsheet set up, my different line items. And I'm just finding a pain every 6 months. And I don't even do it quarterly. I do it 6 monthly.
Yes.
I log into all my accounts. I take a day and a balance, and then the formulas are all there, right? So I literally
You
just
just
putting
balance,
numbers
what?
in. Yeah, but then I have different bank accounts, or there are joint accounts, we have property, we have CPF, we have investments in robos, we have investment in brokerages. Such a pain.
So, okay,
So you gotta do it at the cafe.
That's why, that's why mine is.
Find the environment that holds your peace, and then you do all the hard things there.
But that's why mine is, I have multiple bank accounts and so on and so forth, as we all do. That's why I do it quarterly, and I allocate 10 minutes. Because it's all in the phone, right? It's all
You're just speaking across each other. You're speaking over each other. Essentially, the idea is like, he has his own way, and as long as it works, rocks, right? And that's great. You have your
No,
way
so
in
I
it.
was trying to see if there was an easier way to do it because it takes me like
answer is
half an hour, and I
no.
guess the answer is no.
So answer is no.
It takes me about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I probably got lesser bank accounts than you, but yeah.
Yeah, great. You can download the Rux balance sheet on thefinancialcoconut.com. I will put up the formulas, over there, right? The downloadable sheet.
Actually, the thing I like most about my sheet, the cash flow actually, is it tracks the average for the year and it does the total amount for the year. But more importantly, it does a savings to salary ratio that I really like. So then that is then averaged out. So and even under your 3-month grind for all those emotional people out there, even if you do it, you will still see a 3-month.
Protecting myself,
You will see a
crossing my
3-month
arms
average.
and feeling
You'll
safe.
see a 3-month average, and then from there you will know already.
No.
So that could be a good way.
Great. So you created your own tool, right? Do you all use any other tools that are out there? Other than creating your own tool, because I think from the Financial Wellness Index, it does show that for people that use tools, they perform better on the index, right? So if you want to see the whole report, right, just go and look at we'll drop the link in the description below, okay? Like all the insights that you need from OCBC Financial Wellness Index, you can go there. But one thing that I think is very interesting when I read the report is that people that use tools actually perform better on the index and are closer towards achieving their financial goals. So yeah, are there any other tools that you set up your own tool, which is
But
quite
I guess
cool.
that kind of makes logical sense, right? Because you achieve what you track.
Yeah.
So to me, I have a vague sense that I will achieve. I don't know whether I will achieve. But I think it's also maybe my lack of tracking is a protective mechanism against myself, right? Because I think let's look at assumptions, right? To get to retirement, you need like 7-8% equity return. You save this amount, you'll get there. But this 7-8% return in reality is not every year I get fixed 8%, right? It goes down, it goes up. Then, in a down year, like last year, do I need to change my plan? How does that work? How do I make it up? Do I need to take more risk the next year and all that? Whereas what you are really aiming for is the 8% average over the long term. So because of that, sure, I know roughly how much my bank account keeps going up, which is great. My brokerage keeps going up, which is also great. But at the end of the day, do I really need to know whether I achieved 7% last year or 9% or minus 5%, right? Specificity is nice, but you don't need it in everything.
Okay, fair. So do you
And
then use...
if I'm very specific, I get worried.
Why?
Can you share a little bit more?
So I think it's more that your plan will change, right? So the maybe it's the emotional side of us talking. Or me talking. Me.
Stop drawing lines,
But I think the reality and maybe it is mostly human nature as well, is you look at what's actually happening and you go, this doesn't seem to be working out. And you don't know, or you are taking it on blind faith that it will work out in the end, right? Because this is how it has worked the last 50 years and therefore it is likely to work the next 10, 20 years. And that is a big assumption, So you either blindly believe and then you just do it, which is great, or to me, if I track every single thing, then I go, hey, there's so many other things that points towards the next 20 years being so different from the past 50 years. Can I still have faith in the assumption? Right? And then you start changing that, and then you change your plan, right? And then you sell high and buy something else low, and then you destroy
you
yourself.
get emotional on that.
And then you get emotional, right?
Yeah.
So
sometimes dreaming is good lah. Just forget it. It's like, change already.
Set and forget.
So set and forget.
Yeah.
Do it consistently, which is why I always say DCA, right? And then you have blind faith, or you have some faith that it will get there because there are certain truths to the market.
You must trust the process on some level.
You must trust the process. Like there has to be some leap somewhere, and not everything can be exactly judged because you are trying to predict the future, right? And predicting the future is most of the time a fool's errand. So what's the point of having that pretty model when what you really want is reality?
Okay. So do you use any tools and financial tools out there?
I mean, I use SG Findex. I think it's super good. Because it brings in all my insurance
everything.
policies. Especially the insurance policies.
Yes.
Right?
You can integrate everything. It's so much easier.
SG Findex is great. I have my own spreadsheets, which I don't update, so that's a problem. I think a lot of my tools are how do I DCA? How do I get to a very consistent plan so that I don't procrastinate? And then the parts that I have control over that I have no plan, I procrastinate.
Yeah. And I think even these days there's quite a lot of like the government tools like Live SG.
There's-
some of
there
those
is quite a bit.
Those are quite the integrated dashboards lah. And SG Findex is the best lah so far, right? Because you can pull everything. But there are other platforms that you can play around with.
Yeah,
right?
CPF is great.
CPF Mobile
CPF
is
is a
actually
good
quite
one as
good.
well.
I think the government apps have improved lah. There was a period of time it's like, what the hell is this
CMI.
app?
Yeah,
but it got improved already. Okay, so shout out to you. Improvement
Jess,
must say.
do
Must
you
say.
use any tools?
Well, I just
or-
use Excel sheets.
Excel sheets.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
She's living her life as a former banker.
Yeah.
Right. I have left behind a PowerPoint and Word, but I'm still an Excel monkey at heart.
Yes. I love Excel.
Yeah.
I
No,
love
and
it.
Excel can do a lot of things,
A
right?
lot.
So it is what it is. Okay. So yeah, maybe in closing, for our audience that listen all the way here, based on your persona, based on your personal experience when it comes to managing your money and all that jazz, what is, one last tip that you can share with the audience? Unique to you. Although I know we always talk about, you listen every week is for us, ma.
Yeah,
right?
I
So
share
it's like-
tips all the time.
Yeah. So
I think for planners out there, don't forget to enjoy life. So yes, we want to save. Yes, we want to go for retirement and so on and so forth. But the small things like having a nice meal at a restaurant, other than Cai Peng, which is what I had for lunch, by the way, is important. So don't forget that.
I love how Cai Peng as what you had for lunch is a point.
Economy, right?
Yeah. Not very economical already. But anyway, yes, Jazz, anything?
For mine is, I guess a lot of things is outside of our control, and the things that we can control is the little habits we can do. So just
Yes.
be safe, but have fun with it as well. So similar to yours, having fun.
You see, I love how planners have to remind people to have fun.
Yeah. We don't.
For us, it's
I
okay.
do actually.
Right, right.
Yes.
Okay, great.
It's the enthusiast in me.
Yes, the lingering enthusiast energy, right? Yeah, fight together. But once again, I want to repeat that this is not a horoscope test, right? Please go and do the quiz, have some fun, see where you are, and then you can put in the comment section, let us know, tag us. I have looked at the distribution. It looks like across in Singapore, it's quite evenly spread out. I was quite surprised that it's quite evenly spread out, right? So about 10 to 12% for each persona, right? So it's very interesting. Okay, so take a look at FWI, and we have a few more episodes to come, and we'll cover other things, right? Like what is happening with the Singaporeans, are you saving enough? Are we investing? All that jazz will come in another episode. But today, we can do the survey, do the quiz, do the personality quiz. Okay, see you, take care, bye guys.